if you go for drop logs or you are an Iron Man in RuneScape, you know that one of the worst feeling besides getting dry at a boss is getting the wrong drops. Or let's call it by its name, getting dupes. Because getting the same drop over and over again, while for example going for a log or your next gear upgrade, is just so annoying. Obviously, there is also the other side to this topic, which is when you are a main account and you get the right drop over and over again, and you can just make a big fortune out of it. I mean, just look at the example when you go to a musket and you get 3 drops. And now you 3 times get a 2 slide, you would make billions instead of a few millions, which is just absolutely insane to think about it. But yeah, you could also get 3 times the boots, which would then also be kind of frustrating. So yeah, dupes are definitely something that exists in the game. And it is a wildly discussed topic in the community because there are a lot of people that say we definitely need a dupe protection system and other people that don't really think the same. And I think it's also one of the biggest debates between main accounts and Ironmans, because main accounts can just argue that basically the grand exchange is our dupe protection, because when I get the wrong drops I just sell them and eventually will make a lot of money out of them and then buy the right one. But obviously someone that is an Ironman can't do that, and someone who wants to go for a drop log also can't do it. So as you can see, it's a topic that has definitely a few opinions on it, and I definitely think that we have to talk about it in detail. Because with my experience in RuneScape, I experienced both sides. And this basically in the same grind. Because on my Bronzeman account, I had the rule that I had to farm my gear myself. So I was not able to buy any gear. So as every necromancer does, I went to Raziel and started farming for his drops. And then I first went dry, and after that I got the weapons, and then I got 2 more lanterns, which was just absolutely insane. And I had such a mix of emotions, because at one side I was really frustrating that I did not get a next drop log, that I made no progress on the account. But on the other hand, I got over 1.2 billion back in the days just simply for getting 2 times the lantern again, which was just a fortune basically for me, and therefore was really nice to have. Later in that grind, I experienced the whole opposite, because I obviously then got more drops, and over time I got more dupes. And at the end of the day, I got 5 times the gloves, which just means that I 5 times got the worst drop the boss has to offer. So I basically made no progress with these drops, and I did not even make any money with it, because the gloves back then were like, I don't know, 5 mil or something. So pretty bad. And I think this is something that we also see in a lot of bosses, that some drops are just way more value. I made the example of a musket, for example, which is one of the most extreme, I think, because a musket, for example, can give you her 2 slide, which is worth 2.2 billion coins, but on the same drop rate you could also get the Devour Guard, which is just 380 million. Or it does not have the same drop rate, but it is also a rare drop, the Devour's Nexus, which is just 50 mil. So we have a difference of about 2.1 billion coins between the most valuable and the least valuable drop at this boss. So therefore, obviously, getting a dupe can be the best or worst thing depending on which dupe it is and which kind of account you are. So just installing a system that would protect you 100% from dupes would be really bad for the game. Obviously the Ironmans would now say, no, this would be the best system ever, because then I don't get 2 times the same drop in a row, or 2 times at all before finishing the log. Grinds that took over 1,000 boss kills, now maybe just you take a few hundreds, for example. But if you look at it out of the perspective of a normal main account, just imagine you want to farm some money to buy yourself your new best in slot gear. And therefore you go to a boss and you are really lucky, and in your first, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 kills, you get the most valuable drop the boss has to offer. And now there is a dupe protection system in place, which means that you now know that this boss basically just sucks now to make money on, because you already got the valuable drop. Just for example, Nakatra, you got a Shard of Genesis, and now you know you can farm the boss still, but the most valuable drop you can now get is not 800 mil, and rather it is just 250 mil. This would just feel insanely bad, and I think this would also lead to people basically going to a boss, and as soon as they got the valuable drop, they would not farm the boss anymore, because simply the other drops are not that valuable. And I definitely think that I would do it like this. I mean, just imagine, you know that the best drop at the boss is out of the table for you. It's not possible to get that anymore. This would just feel awful, you know? So therefore, I think a dupe protection system should definitely be added to the game, but it should not be that extreme. Just something that varies the drop rates a little bit. Just imagine we have a boss where you have 2 drops. You can get a on-hand and a off-hand weapon, for example. And now you have a dupe protection system that just changes the values a little bit when you get a drop. So let's say you go to that boss and you get a drop. And now you have a 50% chance of either getting the on or the offhand weapon. So therefore, it is 50-50 which one you get. Now, you, for example, get the on-hand weapon, and therefore, the second drop, the offhand weapon, just gets a little bit more likely to get, but just by a few percentages. Let's say by 5 or 10% more likely, and the other one gets 5 or 10% less likely to get. So now, you get a second drop, and at the second drop, you suddenly have a 60% chance to get the offhand weapon, and you have still a 40% chance to get the on-hand weapon again, which I think would be a system that would be really beneficial for everyone, because this would mean that you still are able to get the dupe. For example, when the on-hand weapon is worth much more money, you are still able to get that twice in a row. It is just a little bit less likely. And on the other hand, for someone who is an Iron Man or goes for a drop block, that person now knows that the chance of getting the other drop is way more likely. And then you can obviously scale the system that when you get the same drop again, it decreases and increases the same drop chances again. So now, for example, you have a 70-30 chance and whatever. So therefore, you have this dupe protection system which protects people who want to go for drop block, who want to play Iron Man, that they don't have to, experience these dupes too much, and they also have that feeling of progressing their account even they get the wrong drops, for example. But you still have the chance of getting the same drops. So people who, for example, just want the valuable ones and are main accounts and want to sell them and stuff, they still are able to. And I think a system like this would definitely benefit the game. I think it would be so much better, especially for Iron Man, obviously. And I think Iron Man is a really popular mode, so I don't think that we can just ignore those people. So yeah, but what do you think? What is your opinion on this? Are you thinking the same? Do you also think a dupe protection should be installed, or are you the whole opposite? What do you think would be the best for the game, and what do you personally wish for? Let me know in the comments. And now don't forget to like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And now I wish you a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!